Crossfields Dairy on Attingham Park, and this is going to be my MaizePlus Let's Play series. This is going to be a fairly short series. It's a bit different to a lot of the stuff that I normally do. I basically want to go through showing you how I use MaizePlus. I will be adding it to my Maypole series, but if you watch that series, you'll know I'm kind of limited on cash and things, so it would restrict the kit that I can have. On here, I have a well set up farm. We've got cash in the bank, and if we need to, I'm just going to add more. I just want to show you how I play with MaizePlus. If you're new to MaizePlus, didn't use it before in FS22, or if you've forgotten, or if you're just not sure, this is going to cover it. So I have MaizePlus enabled. I have the animal food additions enabled, which means particularly for cows, they're going to be a lot more food, produce a lot more milk, a lot more slurry, and a lot more manure, which is really cool. So I have grazing enabled as well. So that's Modelice's grazing mod. Something to bear in mind with Attingham Park, and I suspect it's similar for a lot of modded maps. It doesn't have preset the foliage areas that you need, and I had to go in and do some pretty time-consuming editing of the cow pasture that's used here to get it to work so that it will graze this field. If you're familiar with Crossfields Dairy, you'll know that we have sheep pasture as well up over here. I have set that up for grazing as well. The area of grass is not particularly big, so I'm not sure how well that will do with feeding the sheep. And then we have quite a lot of land. So if I open the map up, we own, this big chunk here. We also own where the BGA was. I have sold that, and I've put in some of the buy points that come with MaizePlus so that we can make use of those as well. There's actually a road that links across from our farm, which is really nice. Yeah, so if we just get up here, we're most of the way there, and then I'll show you around the farm and we'll get and do a bit of work. I think probably our first job on here is going to be to get some grass cut, get some silage wrapped and fermenting, and then we'll get some of the animals in, because we do have grazing, so they can eat the grass that we have. I have a skid steer up here just for handling pallets of wool, bales of straw, bales of hay, that kind of thing. And we might end up using some of these sheds as well as we expand the farm. In the fields, we've got grass growing. We've got corn that I think is it's a growth state away from being foraged, so we can do that next month. We've got some wheat, some barley, some oats, some sugar beet, and I say lots of grass growing. Got it set on 3-day months at the moment. Not going to really have a time pressure. Some of the basic farming stuff I am not going to show you. If I've got a bunch of fields to, I've got a lot of fields to harvest and bale the straw. I'll show you a little bit of it, but not all of it, because that's not really any different. But one of the things I am interested in doing on here, and I have not done it yet, is we own this big grass field here. There's an entrance all the way down there. And I think this would be perfect to set up a big cow pasture for grazing, because it's huge. So that's something that I'm going to have a look at in the future. Let's get to the yard, and then we'll just turn off flight mode. And we'll have a look around the farm. So we've got quite a lot of kit. We've got a nice big class combine. It's actually maybe too big for the farm that we have. We've got a crone forage harvester. I wouldn't normally own something like a forage harvester, but because we're going to be doing a fair bit of forage, I've got that. Got the really nice Lampkin drill off of Mod Hub. I think that's Creative Mesh. It's the one that Paul was using on the last stream that we had, or the stream before, actually. The Fleagle trailer, I really like the, I've forgotten the name, the Kinsey drill planter. Really nice bit of kit. We've got chrome big baler in there. I don't think we have anything else down here. I'm probably going to put bales in here. I think this shed was on Little Norton. I remember stacking bales in this shed before. We don't have the animals yet. We've got the Brantner Power Cube over there. It's another one of our trailers. Going to be using a bit of Courseplay and Auto Drive on here, probably. Got a bunch of implements for the telehandler, and we've got the little mini Manitou. It's a really nice bit of kit, and it's quite a tight yard, so I thought that was a good idea. The Pottinger Impress baler wrapper, it's my preferred baler wrapper for MaizePlus. I don't really like the fast bale for it. We've got the K-branded Merge Max. I really like that bit of kit, and I wasn't short of money. Sulky fertilizer spreader, because it's really nice. The mulcher, and then the Vicon mowers and stuff. Got a plow there. We've got the Keenan feed mixer. Can't remember if it's the more realistic version or not. I think it is. And we've got a front loader for the class as well, just in case we need it. And then over here we have some of, in fact, all of our main tractors. So we have the Valtra Q305, that's got the reverse steer as well. I had planned to use this for our grass working tractor, but we have the Cavern and Vicon mowers, and they need more horsepower. So next to it we have an Axion 960. This is a big old beast. It'll run the mowers and it'll do all of our heavy field work. And then we also have a Valtra T255. So yeah, that is our fleet of tractors. We've got a big class forage wagon in the back there for doing some indirect feeding of the cows. And then I did not mention, we also have the 660 on the feed mixer, and that'll just be doing some yard work as well. And if we need it, we might add in some more things as we go. I haven't brought the animals yet. I normally would use a trailer to get them, but actually I think we're going to get the animals in. We're just going to get them delivered, and that way we can see grazing in action. We have plenty of grass in the field, and then we'll get some hay and some silage made. So I haven't set it up yet, but my plan is to be fairly flexible with how I mix the TMR, so we won't necessarily have to have maize silage and that. You know, hay and a type of silage probably is what we're going to go for. But I think the trigger is here. We're going to go for Holsteins. I am going to start off with, I think, 15. You'll see that they will be eating about 15,000 litres of food a day with the animal food additions enabled. And I'm hoping that only having 15 means that we're pretty good for grazing. So they should be in the field over here now. Yep, you can see those off in the distance. And we'll jump up to the sheep pen as well. And I can't remember where the trigger is for that. I'm guessing it's in front of the gate. Let's turn the triggers on. I normally have them on, but lately I've been leaving them off. Why doesn't that? There it is. Doesn't really matter with sheep. We'll go for... let's go for those. And for sheep, we will go for a few more. Sheep don't eat insane amounts with MaizePlus, so we'll go for 60 for now, just to show that off. And then if we go into the animal thing, you'll see that those are the cows. These are our cows. So we've got the MaizePlus 4 feed bars for both. I'll go through each of those when we get into feeding them. Once we've got food for them, they will graze for now, and grazing will cover all of their feed requirements. So I think at this point we'll get into some grass work. And I just need to remind myself, actually. I set this up a little while ago. And then, as you can imagine, it's been a fairly busy week. So 240 and 80. So yeah, 320 horsepower we need. I think we need to go for the big class. Yeah, that's why I brought it. So I'm going to get the mowers hooked up, and I'll see you over at one of the grass fields. So probably going to use course play to do this mowing just to get it done. What I am going to show you is let's get the mowers unfolded. Start the tractor up as well, and we're going to do this with conditioning. So at the moment in the F1 menu we've got without conditioning, so we're going to hit the Z or Z key and go with conditioning. And I also want it to swath, because we've got two mowers, we need to change it so that they are both with conditioning. That is a thing with paired mowers like this. You need to set both to enable the conditioning, and I'm just hoping that Courseplay is going to pick this field up. Yep, so we're going to do a couple of headlands. We'll start working on the centre because, you know, we'll start working on the headlands. I'm going to put the baler on Courseplay as well. Might even put that on follow me, actually. That would work. There we go, good course. So back this up. You want first waypoint? Yeah, I think I've got follow me enabled. I haven't yet, so we'll do it on Courseplay. For those that are new to the channel, I am running on my spare old laptop at the moment, and I have to be a bit more careful with mods. So let's get that going. And then we will copy that. No. First waypoint. And then I'm going to grab the other voucher, and I've got auto load in universal auto load going on here, so I can run around and pick the bales up. But yeah, we'll just watch this for a second. So we're filling up with conditioned grass. That's what the icon is in the corner. We'll probably miss some because it's got Courseplay going, but I'm not too worried about that. I think we're going to get 5,500 litre bales at this size, which is going to be pretty nice. Yep, there we go. So that's going to drop out of the back and be wrapped. And while it does that, I'm going to go and grab the voucher and our bale trailer. We've got the Bailey bale trailer of Mod Hub and then Universal Auto Load installed. It's my first time using Universal Auto Load in anger. It's a really nice mod though. So, and I dislike how a lot of the auto loading bale trailers unload bales. It's really not very nice sometimes. So we will go around and get these picked up. The drawback is we have to stop, unlike the other ones where we can just oh, that's interesting. Let's put it in the middle, I guess, because it's really wide. So I've not tested this trailer before, so it doesn't really matter because we're auto loading, so we can just grab as many as we can fit on and then go and unload them, and then I'll stack them somewhere neatly manually. I'm not averse to a bit of manual stacking to get them in a shed. It was just to get them off the field, and we have that grass field as well to mow. We'll probably do that as hay, and we'll square bale that. I've got quite a few grass fields. I think there's 3 or 4 plus that big pasture that at the moment we don't have anything in, so we've got plenty of grass. And we'll do a mixture of hay and silage, and we'll do silage different ways for different things. I do have a clamp, so we'll probably put some of the maize silage in the clamp. We've got a couple of fields of maize, and I'll bale some of it as well. I do like baling the maize silage. Not sure if we're going to get any more bales on here, but I have to just make the bale loading area a little bit wider so that we can fit 2 across on there. May not be wide enough. So yeah, I'm going to get all of this mown and baled, and I'll see you in a bit.
Now that I'm looking back, I can see all the signs I tried to fill in the cracks that were spreading in my mind, but I was all out of hope, lost in an endless maze. The emptiness had unfolded just like a void, but you broke the coldness somehow and lit up a flame. And ooh, I was done feeling hopeless, screamed out loud because
So I think I'm just going to whiz round and grab the edges because there seems to be quite a lot of missed grass, and then we'll have to bale that. Maybe it's not too bad. No, she doesn't look too bad. There's a big bit in there. Maybe we'll leave that. Okay, I'll be quiet. We're going to change the work mode. So we can make some hay over here. And then we can square bale that. These are both pretty small grass fields. We do have the bigger ones, but these are just the ones that are available and close to the farm. In the field, aren't I? Maybe not quite. But I've never played on Attingham before. I did not play it in FS19. It's a very popular map. That's a little bit of a dog belt interrupt there. I have 4 dogs now, so if you're new. And I've managed to get myself into the field so we can set up a course play course, which is good. And the game is saving itself, so it should be fine. Bang, let's go. So I'm recording this on Thursday afternoon before the big stream that we've done by the time you're watching this. Boy, am I a little bit nervous. Yeah, just a tad. All the videos that are going to get so many views and probably so many questions. It's, yeah, we are on the road to 10k subs, maybe. And if I hit that, I have to buy Paul a kebab. So if you want to feed the alien Paul and you're not already subscribed to the channel. So yeah, we're going to turn this into hay. I could probably get another tractor on the job, but we're just going to grab these bales and yeah. They're probably just going to get this grass baling done in this video, and then we'll get into really, you know, trying to get stuck into the meat of the series. I might get the grain fields harvested between videos, just so that we've got that straw in. And I'll need to show you grazing working as well, because we're on half time at the moment, so probably won't get to see that in this video. So tune in for the next one. Modelisha has a tutorial on his channel covering how grazing works. They say I had to probably too close. I had to edit both of the animal pastures on here to enable grazing to work. I know that for some future maps, a bunch of modders are aware of this kind of thing, and they will make sure that their maps are going to behave. That is really weird. We'll try one of the others. Looks like the baling is done. We've missed some bits, so we'll jump in the tractor and get those as well. That's very strange. Oh well, I might bring the class over to do the tedding as well. Get that done. This is a very different format video for me. Again, regulars will know that I generally pre-record all of my gameplay and then add the commentary on. It's just what works well for me. I'm just kind of abandoning these bales around the yard at the moment. We'll get the telehandler out and we'll tidy them up afterwards. Is it L? I. I'm kind of new to auto load. I've been playing around with it in the background, but in the mod rather than in the game. So I'm going to get the rest of these bales picked up, and I'll get back to you and get that bit of loose grass tidied up, and I will be back with you. I've only got one extra bale off of doing that, but what I did want to show you is in the bale at the moment we have grass conditioned, and it is fermenting, and it will be grass silage. So that's one of the big differences with MaizePlus, if you are not familiar with it, is silage is split into multiple different categories. So from things like wheat, barley and oats, you'll get whole crop silage. From maize, you'll get maize silage. From grass, you'll get grass silage. And in the store, you can buy clover, alfalfa and horse silage as well. Another change, which is why I have jumped back in, is with the tedding. So there are multiple stages of tedding with MaizePlus. So you can go to conditioned grass, which is actually what we have here because we went with a conditioner. And then you can do semi-dry, or you can go straight to hay. I have a tutorial on this, so I am going to go straight to hay. I am not a massive fan of the huge stages of tedding personally, so I am going to take advantage of the opportunity to skip that step and we will get this all tedded out. We're done with the mowers for now. We are going to need a lot more grass probably. So the track there runs, you can just see them actually in the distance, the Doika and other buy points that I've added in. We will be taking a trip there at some point. So yeah, we got, I think about 10, I can tell, check, rather than me guessing. 18 silage bales. Seems like a lot, but that's pretty good. Quite a nice number. So that'll keep us going for a little while. We're going to be mowing the rest of the grass that we have, and I'll probably silage that. Silage, it's just your own choice, actually. I find I use silage a lot more than I use hay. We do have the sheep, obviously, so we might need some hay. Look like we've got 8. I guess that's what, 8 plus 6... 14. Yeah, maybe we did get, yeah, we did get 18 bales. I'm just going to park this up here for now. We don't need the big Axion again, and if we do, we'll need it on mowers, so that can park there. Let's get that stray bale picked up, and then we're going to switch to square bales for the hay. So, oh, missed the first headland course plate. Very annoying. And then we'll get the merge max over, and we'll get that windrowed and baled. So I'm going to square bale the hay just because it's a bit easier to handle. The silage bales will probably find somewhere outside to stack those. Yeah, we just don't need to be undercover. Obviously they are wrapped, so kind of what they do in the UK with silage bales, just leave them out in the elements. And yeah, the hay, we will have to pick a shed to put them in. I'm not sure which one to use. Don't really want to block the milk trigger, which is the obvious one. I've not really worked out where I'm going to do my feed mixing yet. See, that shed is the obvious choice. And we could put the silage bales just in front of us. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. So I think we'll end up using the big voucher on the merge max and then on the baler, or maybe we'll wait until the tedding's done and we can windrow and bale in one hit. If we jump in the class, yeah, so it's missed the first headland, which is a bit annoying. That's my fault. Yeah, I put it on nearest waypoint and not first waypoint. Rookie mistake there. So yeah, with grass tedding, you can pick which state you want to go to. So you can go through from fresh to conditioned to semi-dry to hay, or you can do what I've done, go straight to hay. You can go backwards as well, so you can go back to semi-dry or conditioned if you want. If it rains, we have rain in the forecast, and you want to simulate the effect you used to get with seasons, you can do that as well. But we're not going to do that because tedding is one of my least favourite things in the game, so I was really glad they added this in. In 19, I would quite often run 2 tedders or just back-to-back running it on the same course. It's not my favourite thing. But it's not going to take too long to get this job done, and we'll be back then and getting it windrowed and baled. Just finished the tedding and we're coming up to a couple of minutes to the hour, so I'm going to speed time up just so that you can see the grazing working. I'm hoping I have the version of Attingham on here that I edited so that grazing does in fact work, and I did. There we go. So you can see that grazing has taken a layer of grass off of the field, and if we go into the cow pen, you will see that they now have a 25% full feed bar. If more food came off when the grass was taken off, it's stored in a buffer and it'll get added in the next hour. And the same for the sheep. So that is our cows fed for a bit. It'll cover all of their needs, so it was pretty good. And there's still at least one more state that they can take off of there, so they should be good for next month as well. Yeah. So that is grazing. I brought the class back to the yard so that I can use that. I'm going to drop the tedder off use that to run the bale trailer, although I am actually going to do the baling myself. I'll get courseplay windrowing and I'll run around with the baler. Here's my plan, and that will be a video. I'll do the bale stacking between episodes, and as I said, I might get the grains harvested. Yeah, you know what harvesting wheat, barley and oats looks like, so that's no different with MaizePlus or without. So yeah, I don't think you really need to see me running the combine and the baler and getting that job done. Yeah, so, but this is a bit different, you know. The hay is not the hay is. The tedding is different. You know, you can, as I said, you can choose to ted the grass up to 3 times if you want. It is probably the only feature of MaizePlus that I don't really embrace. But you know, it's why you've got the options to set things up the way you want to get the merge max out. And yes, I'm going to put the merge max on courseplay. Just going to get it so the work mode is how I want it. I want it to drop in the middle. It'll just be easier. Reduces the working width ever so slightly, but you know, it'll be good enough. I think I'm going to do 3 headlands. We'll start on the center because you probably wouldn't do that in reality, would you? We'll start on the headlands. Yeah. Helps if you click generate course, not close the course generator. There we go. So where's the start point there? I actually have it on start on first waypoint, not closest waypoint this time, so we won't do what I did last time and miss the first headland. So yeah, the 225 can do that, and we will jump in the Q series and get to work. I have the baler set on 220 centimeter bales. It's going to make them slightly smaller. I'm actually thinking that I might go down to 180 centimeter bales, so it's going to make them slightly smaller, which is completely against what I would normally do in FS. Normally I would make bales as big as I can, but if we're going to be mixing TMR using bales, then if they're slightly smaller, that gives us more flexibility in how many we might put in. So yeah, that's why I'm doing it differently. Something that I do that, you know, regulars to the channel will have seen me do is when I get to the end of this long run, it's what's going to be the long run for courseplay with the windrowing, I will eject the bales from the baler. That means that when we're going on the short runs where we're going to be turning for our long runs, we won't have bales in the way. So in fact, I'm going to do it here. So switch the baler off and hit the Y key, and it will spit out the full bale. That just means that we're less likely to drop a bale on the short run here, where we're going to be wanting to turn around, and so is courseplay. So yeah, that's it's just explaining how and why I'm doing it this way. Maybe you do it differently. It's just how I've got used to doing it, because I do a lot of stuff with courseplay. You know, certainly a lot of like windrowing and grass work, I'll do a combination of me playing and courseplay doing things, and this makes it so that courseplay has an easier time. If courseplay was running the baler as well, I would set it to do the field centre first, because that way there's less chance that you'll get a bale in the middle of the or on the short rows where you're trying to turn around. So yeah, there is a logic to why I do things like this, or the way I do them. Yeah, except that I've forgotten there to do exactly what I said I would do. So yeah, we'll press B, we'll hit Y, and we'll just drop those 2 bales there. And then when we come around with the auto stacker, we can pick those up. Helps if you turn the baler on. I know what I'm doing, honest. Obviously we could have mowed the headland between these two, and yeah, realistically I might turn those into one field. It seems silly to have 2 small grass fields when we really need big grass fields, and it would just be a case of ploughing in that boundary. Still didn't turn the fucking baler on. Sorry, it's been a So I don't know if I said in fact, no, because this is the first time. So I'm recording this on Friday morning, Friday lunchtime. So after we announce the release date for MaizePlus, which is before you're seeing this video. So that's kind of a non-thing. But yeah, this morning's been a morning. Had some stuff to do with long-term health issues. That's been kind of, yeah, it was kind of a draining morning. Let's go with that. I'm really curious as to why it's doing these really weird half-width things. So I'm going to jump in and stop that. I don't think it's got the right working width. No, not at all. So let's disconnect and reconnect. There we go. That's more like it. So let's clear that course and make a new one. So as I said, it's really the last hour and a bit has been really, really taxing. And I just playing a bit of farm sim to chill out. And, you know, I guess a bunch of you hopefully do that as well. And when I play farm sim, I'm generally recording these days. So, yeah. Should we try that again? Let's do that again. This sounds like a really good idea. I think we can probably ignore that and run over and get behind the other voucher. I've really missed my simple inspector to tell me what tractors I've got running. You see, this is a new save, so it's always hard to remember when you, well, I don't know. So when I set this save up maybe a week ago, and then just left it waiting for when I would get a chance to record and make a hopefully half decent video introducing my farm here on Attingham and MaizePlus. And so I kind of might have forgotten some of the kit that I've got, particularly as these are, you know, these vouchers are all new to me. So it's an S, isn't it? It's an S we've got in front of us. And no, it's not an S because the S is missing, I think. And we've got a nice Q series here. I love this stupidly bright orange. Yeah. So I wanted this one to run the mowers, and I'm really tempted actually to switch to the Kubota mowers because they're a really good colour for working with this tractor, and they need less horsepower. Before you ask if that's a bit cheaty, actually those Kubota mowers in real life use less horsepower than the Cumberland equivalent. Don't ask me why, but if you go on the Kubota website, their horsepower requirement is listed as being less than the Cumberland one. So yeah, I might add in the Kubota pack and switch those over because I think they would look really nice on here, and I could then use the reverse drive function on here, which makes mowing a lot better, ideally. So I used vouchers a bit on Charwell in FS19, and what I did is I had it must have been an S series, it must have been the bigger one. I had the butterfly mower set on the front that you could set as a triple. They were the Pottinger ones. I don't think they windrowed, but what I did is, like, if I was making hay, I'd have those on the front and a tedder on the back. Yeah. So just remembering this time to empty the beta out before we get on to the short run. And say if I was manually loading these bales, I've done it again. If I was manually loading these bales, I definitely wouldn't be making them in the slightly smaller capacity. But because I'm not, we're auto loading them. I'm doing that because it's going to make the feeding more flexible. I haven't decided yet which shed I'm going to put them in. I'm thinking probably the one where the Keenan is, and we'll put the silage bales next to it. I think I said that, and then. Yeah, we need to do a bit of customizing of how we're going to make our TMR. I need to set up still all of the prices for the fill types that aren't set yet. Did a video on that and why they're like that, but basically the plan is that I will just sit down and go through and, you know, work out with the prices that are on Attingham. I think Attingham uses the base game fill type, so just go through and add in prices for stuff. I might look back to FS19 with MaizePlus. Let's see if we can make it across, and you know, get the prices from that for things like maize silage and stuff, because I'm not sure. Or I could just price it all the silage. You know, doesn't really matter that much, I don't think. And this one, even less so, because I'm not really worried about selling anything. It's mostly about generating enough feed for the cows. I think I probably didn't need to do 3 headlands now I've got the working width set right. Anyway, I'm going to finish this off and I'll be back with you when we're done and we'll have a bit of a wrap up. I think we're coming up on the last couple of rows. I'm hoping that those bales that I left just there aren't going to be an issue. The course blade missed a tiny bit there. We can just run the baler back along that. It's not an issue. And then I need to whiz around and pick them all up. The benefit of dropping some of them in groups is if you use universal auto load, you know you have to be stationary for it to load. So that will help that they're all clustered in one spot. So it looks like there are 2 more runs for the windrower and it's missing another strip. Yes, didn't quite have the working width set right. Hopefully that means it might miss those though. Yeah, go on, up, up, up. Stay up, yes. Awesome, well done courseplay, you missed that bale. Pretty impressed with that actually. It's kind of surprising that it has worked. It's going to stop there though, so let's jump in here. Awesome. And we can just take over and pull that out of the way. I will worry about tidying all these tractors up later because you don't need to see that either. And I am just going to grab those 2 long runs. I really hope you can't hear the power tools that one of my neighbours is running in the background. I've been having some mic issues lately, not with when the game is playing, but in some of those tutorials I've been trying to do where I've been out on the desktop. It's really weird, and that's why, if you're wondering, some of the tutorial stuff that's out on the desktop, I have a bit of music playing quietly in the background. And that's because I can hear some noise in the background of my mic. It's not like the noise outside at the moment. And I'm trying to use the music to mask it slightly because I couldn't mix it out. I couldn't work out where it was coming from. It sort of seems to have gone away today, so that's a bonus because I was recording the video on fixing grazing on Attingham this morning. So I wasn't going to do a video doing that because the first time I tried it and the way I did it for what I have on here was really not very graceful at all. But chatting to Just Dad Adam on Discord, who's one of the channel members, and been a friend for a long time, we between us, he kind of prodded. I gave him some ideas. He went and tried it. His attempt show me what I needed to do to fix it to get it to work, and I'm not actually going to take that away either. And I will now actually say, because it's really bad when I do the live stuff like this, I really quite often forget, and I apologize for that. And I say thank you to the patrons and the YouTube channel members for supporting the channel. Really do appreciate you guys. It still blows my mind sometimes that people want to watch me play. I need to sort out the load area on here. People want to watch me play and talk about farm sim, and people are generous enough to donate some of their hard-earned money, particularly in the crazy times we live in now. Yeah, I really appreciate it. It really does help out with a number of things. Ultimately, I have, again, those of you that follow the channel and will know, I game on a laptop. At the moment, I am gaming on a very old laptop because my newer laptop is just over a year old. Thankfully, it was still in warranty. It's currently away with the manufacturer because it had to get a new motherboard fitted, and they've had to order that from China. But I have an ambition that, and I think it's going to be a reality, that the YouTube channel will pay for me to get a desktop as well. I mean, looking at some quite high-end desktops, not so much for farm sim, more for the video editing and the rendering, because that's what takes the time, really. You know, it's like don't think I'm going to get those last couple of bales on here, but 90,000 litres of hay is pretty good. Might sneak on the end. I'm expecting... No, that's annoying. Let's go unload. Yeah, I'm expecting that, for example, this video will probably take, you know, like 3 hours to render. Maybe more. It's probably quite a long video. It may be less than normal because there's no time-lapse, and time-lapse takes longer to render because there's more frames in there, even though it's not rendering at any higher frame rate. I don't know. I don't understand completely, but yeah, so I've got a hope that maybe early next year that I can start to think about YouTube contributing towards a new desktop PC. The hope had been, before I started thinking about that it would fund, you know, like a laptop upgrade in a couple of years' time. But I'm hoping that now the laptop has essentially been refreshed and it's got a new motherboard. I'm hoping, you know, the specs are good enough that I can keep playing Farm Sim 22 on there. So I'm hoping that will last and I can get a nice desktop and use it mostly for editing and rendering. I'll probably game on it as well, if I'm honest. Particularly like the streams with Paul, probably do those on there, that kind of thing. But yeah, it'll make some of the editing process a lot easier, and the rendering process. What I was doing is I was editing on my decent laptop, which is the one that's supposed to repair, and then I would copy them to the laptop that I'm now playing on and let it render on there. You know, but the render times are quite long, and most of the time that's not a problem. But you know, over the last month, I've really gotten so that I'm making videos and rendering them almost the day before release, and I really don't like that. And that's when a 3 or 4 hour render is a real killer. You've got to factor in videos take about an hour and a half to upload because they're rendered in 4K, so they're really big. And then YouTube takes, you know, half a day to process it into a decent resolution to watch. So yeah, there's all of that goes into it. And where I'm not so organised at the moment, it would be really nice to have a computer that would render in, you know, half an hour or an hour. So I am also looking at, because it's going to be another 2 to 3 weeks before I get my laptop back, I'm looking at some obscure options for rendering PCs, just to do the rendering literally. I watched Linus Tech Tips because I'm a geek, and they just did a $69 gaming PC, and whilst I wouldn't use it to game, actually the processor specs in it were very similar to the laptop that I play on, in terms of benchmarks, and the rendering software that I use mostly relies on the processor because it's free. So I am looking at that, because you can pick one of those up for about 100 quid. They're basically old workstations for people doing CAD modeling and all that kind of thing. So they generally come with a lot of RAM, which is helpful for video editing and rendering, and a half-decent processor. They are awful for disk space, but I can manage that anyway. So yeah, I'm kind of thinking about that. I've got my eye on a few on eBay. It will probably piss off Mrs. Disturbed because it will mean another computer coming into the house. But hey, you know, this stuff helps pay the bills ultimately. So that's how it's getting. Anyway, I've rambled enough. I'm going to say thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this Attingham video, there will be more of these. I am going to be turning out as many of these as I can, probably starting from Monday. So this one's hopefully going to come out on Sunday. I'm going to focus on this series for a bit. It might mean that my MaizePlus series is kind of slowed down a little bit, because I think this one will be faster for showing you the good fun things from MaizePlus. So yeah, like I say, I'm going to harvest the grain fields between videos. I'll get the crop in the straw, in the silo. I'll get the straw baled in a shed somewhere, and so when we come back, we'll straw up the cows, and maybe we'll make some grain mix for the TMR, and we'll start looking at our TMR, because I think we've got to wait until September to do the maize silage. So yeah, we'll maybe do a next video on feeding, and maybe we'll push through to September and do the maize silage as well, or some more grass work. I might do the rest of the grass fields in the background as well. Let me know what you think on that kind of thing for this. So really, this is more of a this is how I use MaizePlus. It is less of a let's play like I normally make. So there may be some steps that I would normally show you because I enjoy playing the game and I know you enjoy seeing it, that I would normally show you that I might skip. Anyway, I'm rambling again. So thanks for watching, folks. Click the like button, comments, questions down below. If they're detailed MaizePlus questions, there'll be a link for the MaizePlus Discord as well, which is a good place to go for those. And if you're not ready, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you next time.